Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. So today, if you are new here, this is my husband Nate, and for those of you that are not new here,
this is Nate.
This is Nate. We have been planning to do this video for a while now, but it's just been really hard with schedules. We finally had some time to do it. This is like the most commonly asked question I get, or we get, of why we went vegan. And we've kind of like touched on it here and there, whether it's been like live streams recently or even on like different mukbangs and stuff. We've kind of talked about it. We've never truly like sat down and done a video on it. And not only like why we went vegan, but a lot now that we've been vegan for over a year, you know, a lot of the changes we've seen, good and bad, a lot of it. So we just thought we would like cover kind of all the questions we pretty much get, and maybe we can jump on to YouTube later tonight and do a like live stream Q&A from this in case there's something you want like clarification on. I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
We'll see.
While it's fresh.
While it's fresh. So also another thing why I really wanted to have Nate here, not only of course, you know, we're married, we did this together, we're doing this together, but I thought it would be really good to get like a male's perspective from it too. And I know that's you. And I know that a lot of you have, you know, spouses or significant others that's kind of the struggle for you guys too, of where you want to do it but the other person doesn't and all that. So just to kind of get both sides too. Okay, so I'll let you go first. Although I influenced you in the beginning of, you know, bringing you information about what I was learning about, you know, the vegan lifestyle, but what would really be, going back, not so much now, but going back, why vegan?
It started with health, really. So at a certain point, I felt really unhealthy, like a lot unhealthy, like starting to get worried about my health. And you know, just the background of me, you know, I used to be 330 pounds. And when I was 330 pounds, I was like portion control, fix everything. And, you know, it helped to a certain extent.
It was like a diet. It worked until it didn't.
Yeah, I would try and portion control as best as I could, but I lost weight, but I didn't feel better.
You're still run down and tired.
Fatigued. I felt fatigued for so long, just tired all the time. And I think that if I would have took my health more serious and really thought about, you know, a more educated view of food as fuel, and what you put in you is what you get back out. I think I would have got to a more plant-based diet, not vegan by myself. I contribute that to you and kind of pushing the envelope of, hey, let's try and go to an extreme, but definitely incorporating more of learning that, you know, a vitamin supplement isn't going to fix what I felt my problems were around my health.
Right.
So
I remember you tried that even a little bit too. I'm just going to take all these vitamins.
Yeah,
they're aids, they're supplements. They're not like
they're not
the fixes.
They're not fixes. And I knew getting meds, you know, like actually getting meds weren't going to fix.
You were getting really, really bad headaches too, and it was like often.
I developed, just through more of a self-awareness of what I was eating and thinking back on it later of, oh my God, I shouldn't have ate that, and now I feel like this. But I'd get headaches almost daily. And they would be
at like the end of the night too, mostly.
At the end of the night when, you know.
When you probably got all your sugar in and bad stuff and everything.
Yeah, and then, you know, I just piled on a whole bunch of grease at the end of the day too, you know, because you got to have fried food for dinner. But I felt, and I even talked to some of my friends that are in medical field, some of them out there that were more, that were far more healthier than me because they had already educated themselves around nutrition. I talked to them about what some of my symptoms were and what their knowledge was about it. And, you know, one of them really spoke to me a lot about, man, I think you're pre-diabetic, or you're getting to the point where, you know, being diabetic is going to be a thing. And I was like, yeah, you know, I go to the bathroom so frequently though, you know, because I drink so much water. And he goes, dude, you're not drinking water. Your body is trying to filter out all the garbage that you're putting into it. That's the reason why you're going to the bathroom so often with, you know, urinating.
Yeah.
This is going to be like an adult kind of video, I guess. Which is extremely hard for me. But, you know, urinating a lot. And I just thought it was, you know, I always drank a lot of water, and that's something that I've always been healthy with. But him just saying, you know, you ate a whole bunch of salt, you ate a whole bunch of sugar, and your body's going, God, I do not need all this.
Right.
You know, get it out of your body. You know, then having headaches at the end of the night, he's just like, yeah, you know, your insulin levels, you have roller coastered them all day long, and now your body's just getting to the point where it's like it needs to recover.
And it was trying like every day.
And it just going through this barrage every day, because you'd wake up in the morning and you'd be like, my headache is gone, and this is great.
Start over.
Let's go eat a whole bunch of sugary cereal and you know, toast and bacon and eggs.
Processed food. And I remember you basically ended your day, and I'm no joke here, and I'll have my side of this too, but with an Advil, like with Advil every day. Every day.
Just to dilute my headache enough till I could get to sleep.
Yeah. And you became like really dependent on that.
Yeah, I mean, Excedrin migraine was a daily thing, and you took it. You took it 20 minutes before you go to bed.
You know what's another big thing that like you may not really know, because I know a lot of people that do it don't necessarily know it, but you snored too like crazy. Probably even partially that borderline of like sleep apnea.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll get into some of the changes as we go here, but that's completely gone. And I can vouch for that. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of your main things.
That's what was a true precursor to
trying something different.
When it was, hey, let's try something new and extreme. Yeah. I was just like, why not? Why not? Nothing else is nothing else. I never tried anything different. I just thought I was. Yeah, you just you cut back, but you didn't take out really ever, and so it was still, the issues were still there. And you know, for me going back, you know, of course, me doing YouTube, I watch a lot of YouTube, and at that time I don't remember really, to be honest, who my first exposure to a vegan YouTuber was, but I know Freely was up there, and it was, you know, you saw this girl, this very strong-willed person, and although she comes with controversy of how strong-willed sometimes, the girl I felt knew what she was talking about. And so I didn't necessarily follow exactly how she, you know, when I was thinking about it, like, how am I going to do this? It wasn't like I was going to like copy her, but it just opened the door of what is vegan and what is this and what? And for me too, at that time, I was really struggling with PCOS and symptoms of that. And, you know, we'll get into the changes that have come with that too. But that was something that was really, it's really hard for me to lose weight. It always has been, because of that battle of like hormonal issues. And so that was kind of, for me, what really wanted to try something different. And again, we hear so much that, like, you know, food really affects your hormones. It really does. There's no denying that. And so that was for me, like, really wanting to, you know, scope this out a little bit more. And then of course, what happens when you watch a vegan channel, usually off to the side there's another one and another one, and you just get so like consumed in it. Then at that time too, I started watching some documentaries on Netflix. At the time, I think it was on Netflix anyway, they're still there, and that was again just like this whole other way of life that like I've never considered, because growing up in the standard American diet is barbecue, you know, I mean, that's what it is. Yeah. And fried food. And it just, you know, we weren't raised vegan at all or plant-based at all. So it was just very foreign. It really was. But it was for me, I'm the type of person that's very like, I love trying new things. I'm not like scared of new things. I'm curious about new things. And I'm always one of that person that's never like a tiptoe in. It's like, we gotta do it. Yeah. Sometimes this is good, sometimes this isn't great, but
That was the big kind of thing for me. So with all that said, even for both of us, really the ethical side of it, the animal side of it, the environmental side of it really was not even a consideration really at the time, because we just didn't think about it.
We didn't connect those dots.
No, and we never watched those types of documentaries up until that point. So yeah, we have been vegan now for about 1.5 years. Although there has definitely been times we have not been perfect. I don't think personally we'll ever be perfect with it, but I think that we are comfortable saying we're vegan, you know, and we do our best. We really do. And sometimes though you end up finding out that things that you were told were vegan were not. I mean, it's very, very hard to do it full out. It really is.
Right, and vegan is an idea of what your intent is.
Right, I agree.
For me, I agree. It's not this, you know, it's like, okay, if you're a vegan and you go somewhere and you order something vegan at a restaurant, fantastic. What you're consuming and all those things are great.
Trying to make a better choice.
But is the person who made your salad also vegan?
Right.
So is that meal truly vegan?
Right. So, I mean, you could always keep diving in of like, how vegan are you, I guess.
Have the idea, have your belief of what you want to be around the idea of it, and that's what makes you vegan, and you can only define that for yourself, unless you're literally eating a cheeseburger in the moment saying I'm vegan. You're not vegan.
You're not vegan.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
But that, you know,
but you'll see that go around a lot on YouTube too, of people that goes, well, you're not vegan because of a little thing. And you know what, power to those people too that, you know, really take it to the extreme. I'm not even offended by it, but I don't think we should, you know, bring someone down for maybe not being perfection with it when they're trying their best to do better, you know. So yeah, I mean, we just kind of really dove into it at the time, and it was like February, March-ish. You know what's funny is I don't really have a true date like written of like our vegan date, but we kind of just go by month. Of 2016, and yeah, I mean, we just really, our focus was, you know, let's focus on substituting. And so we did a lot of like the fake meats, the fake cheeses and stuff, and just I think though, if you are newer to this lifestyle or thinking about doing it, as much as some of those things are not really the healthiest things, and we know that now, I think it's a really good way to transition, especially if it's not just you, but like a family environment. It's very hard. It really is to take. My big thing was, I had this idea, and I still struggle with it sometimes, that you have to have 4 things on your plate. He always laughs like, oh, what kind of smorgasbord do you want? And I think in my mind, you have to have a meat, you have to have the rice, you have to have the veggie and the dessert or whatever, right? And that was really hard for me to like, wait, we're missing something.
Yeah.
It was. And so my focus was really like, let's replace the meat with fake meat. And, you know, that worked for a while. It did, of just getting used to these new textures and tastes. And a lot of the stuff is really, really good. It's not the same, but it's really, really good. And I think what's really important to remember is that the longer you go with really doing it, your taste buds change. I promise you, because there are so many veggies and fruits that I would not touch before, that I hated. Same for you.
Yeah.
And now I really enjoy them, and the taste of them is so different, but I had to get that other stuff out of my system or on my tongue or whatever it is. It really does change though. And so that was a focus for months. That really was.
Yeah, because it was once again, we wanted the idea of being vegan there. Yeah. And we knew that it wasn't just going to be how to do it. Yeah, like, what am I going to do when I want chicken nuggets? Yeah. Vegan chicken nuggets, you know, it wasn't like you can never have this again, because when you put that barrier on it of you can never have anything, even a substitute like this ever again. What do we all naturally want to do? We want it then. No. Because you're told you can't, you want it, you know? Right. Yeah. And it's so, like, you know, the bacon thing comes up. It comes up all the time. Yeah. I can't give up bacon. Like, that's fine. I've made a BLT with fake bacon, and it tastes delicious. It's delicious. It really is. I don't know. But it was, we had to get through, we had to learn how we could eat without changing everything about the habit, changing what we were eating, not the habit of how we ate, was a big buffer point at the beginning of switching over to being vegan.
Yeah. And, we did have our pig. We have a mini pig before going vegan. But I should have said that too, of like a kind of an idea. But like I said, the animal connection wasn't there in the beginning. Right. It really wasn't. But the idea, I will say, of eating bacon when we have a pig was a little bit like, oh, that's weird, that's wrong, weird. But again, you still didn't look at the big picture at that time.
Right, you disconnect. You disconnect so much.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. You see all these commercials of the happy cows, and you think these cows are happy.
You literally see a picture, a Carl's Jr. commercial of an amazing looking cheeseburger or something like that. You do not correlate at all the idea of a cow in your head with that at all. And if you do, it's it's a cow.
Yeah, you don't put the thing together.
Visualize a cow and those things.
Right.
I do now.
Right. Well, and I think about a month into eating differently and trying all these new things and just doing life very different is when we finally sat down and watched Earthlings.
Yeah.
We did. We sat down and watched it. It took us a few hours because we had to take breaks. That's the truth.
Yeah.
It was, and someone like you who's kind of like, I kind of know what goes on. It's not good. But you kind of blew it off.
It's going to be gross. I went into it going, I'm going to see some things. And when you see them.
When you see some things, you had a different reaction than I expected. It was just.
I remember, and I think we've mentioned this a few times, we were watching it, to be honest with you, and we got to a part where it started talking about the pork industry.
Yeah.
And I don't I'm an emotional person, but I'm not I don't get overly caught up. But I mean, I remember when that sequence or chapter ended when we were watching Earthlings, we paused it, we said, hey, we need to take a break, and I literally went and hung out with Bumper.
With the pig.
I went outside and I hung out with my pig for 15-20 minutes before coming back in, because there was
how people say
made.
Exactly, that's what people are going to say, and you'll see that a lot in the vegan community of make the connection, and in that moment for you,
I was just like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I didn't go out there and cry with my pig or anything, but I went out there and I was just like, wow, that was real. It got real. It got real. Dr. Phil'd it. I got real.
And that was about a month in of going vegan, and that really was more fuel to really dive in even more and watch more documentaries on those types of things. And for me, you look behind me and I have all this makeup and stuff, it was like, whoa, I didn't even really know up until that point that you had to even look for cruelty-free and stuff. I didn't even think about it. You're so blind to so much that's actually going on out there because it's not marketed for you to know that,
Right.
And so that's when I really dove in. So even still today behind me, I do still have some things that are, not vegan or not cruelty-free, but they're things that I've had in the past. And now going forward, it's something I really look at. And again, sometimes it's tough because then companies can change even too of, they once were cruelty-free or vegan and now they're not, and it can be very tough. And again, that's where I go into when people say, oh, you're not vegan, then you're plant-based or this and that. I still think though, when the intention behind it is, pure and good, I still consider you vegan.
Putting yourself down and putting that kind of weight on yourself is why as humans we fail at so much. Is because shoot for the moon and you'll land among the stars. No, if you shoot for the moon and you miss the moon, you feel like a failure. No, that's not how humans work.
Right.
Inspire to get somewhere
and do better when you know better.
But understand if you're on track and you're making your progress and you are accomplishing it for yourself, you're whatever you are. Yep. You define that to yourself.
Yeah.
And I think so many people weight veganism and that's the problem that I have with the vegan community.
Yeah.
Is when I first heard about vegans, I was like, these nut jobs are crazy.
And now we're one of them. No.
People literally I'm expecting vegans to sit down in the street and douse themselves with gasoline and light themselves on fire in protest. And I'm like, okay, whoa, calm down. Yeah. It's important, but it is not an end all be all for me. Those people can be what they want to be, but that's what, when we first said we're going to be veganism, I'm like, I'm not going to be a crazy person, like, in my mind.
No.
But I've learned over time, and hopefully my perspective helps you out there for people who are struggling with it. That's my big thing, is I struggle with it. I do. I still want pizza, guys. Come on now.
Yeah. We're not like trying to be like, oh, that's gross.
Oh no.
It is.
No.
It is gross when we put that connection together, but we're not going to say it doesn't taste good. We're not, you know.
I remember a long time ago, in my true ignorance, I used to say, if animals didn't want to be eaten, they shouldn't taste so good. It's horrible. I used to say this. But you know, perspective change and things like that. So hopefully that idea helps.
But what you'll also learn too, of like you said, of not being so extreme and all this, but then you start to realize that buying cruelty free isn't extreme either. You know what I mean? It doesn't, you can do that and not be considered extreme. So the point is, you can actually be vegan all around and not be one of those, an extreme person.
And
you know?
Some of those people, I do appreciate that you've paved the way for companies.
Of course.
For companies.
We need that
to
still.
start making it easier to find stuff like cruelty-free makeup. I believe some of the extreme veganism people out there that have been hardcore, you know, you've paved the way. Thank you so much for what you did. I'm not you.
I'm not quite there myself.
I'm not there.
But I'm gonna continue the trend on of sharing vegan a different way.
Exactly.
That's where we come in, and that's what we love to do now here, and it's great. It's great. So now, what would you say? Now that it's been a year and a half, what are your biggest changes?
So to start with, I guess, to bring it back to the health side of it, I actually jumped on the scale yesterday, and I know weight is just a number, but I'm happy. So I am I'm almost under 250. I'm like 255 around there, but under 260, which is a huge thing for me, because I used to weigh a lot more, and even when we started. When we transitioned to vegan, I was around
290-ish.
Yeah, 285, 290. So there's been good weight loss for me. But as far as health is concerned, headaches,
rare.
I would say normal. People, it's normal to get. It's normal to get a headache every now and then, and I would say that I'm normal in that capacity. And when I do get headaches, they're not the intensity that they once were. I mean, it used to be lay down, dark, no sound, migraine headaches, and now it's, I can still function.
It's probably just didn't get as much sleep even.
Right. It's the normal things in life.
And you rarely take medicine now. Rarely. And like I said, no snoring anymore. I mean, obviously that's probably also to do with just losing weight in general, but that's been a huge thank you. And I would just say we sleep a lot better and a lot more like on a schedule. We do. And if we eat a lot of like vegan garbage, we feel it. We do now. Even though it's like vegan, you can still eat poorly. So it's
luckily
just
those things still process better. You don't feel as yucky as long. Energy, stamina has been amazing. I think you guys have been around, and we've been doing this long enough that you see things where, like, you know, I built Bumper's pen.
He couldn't have done that before.
No way could I have done that. I built the planner box in one day. That would have been a week-long project, multiple times going out there for a few hours and then dying and coming inside. You know, just those kind of things are walks that we do. Not so much right now. It's super hot, but we were really getting into that. And just all and bike riding, things. Like far for us. And we're just more into that too, whereas before it'd be like, no. Now it's not, you know, it's a workout and it's hard, but I don't get home and feel like I'm dying. I don't feel like I'm, you know, gonna pass out or anything like that. So those things are really great around the health side of it.
Now for you, I know since I work from home here on YouTube and you work in the public, I know a big thing over the last year and a half is really, why I say it that way too is I don't get that as much because I'm not out in the public as much. But with like being questioned so much about like when he's having lunch at work, it's like, what are you eating? What is that? Where's the meat? You can just eat that? What? And you get questioned like daily.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
So how do you deal with that?
I share, I try. I'm not pushy. I'm not pushy, guys. I really, I'll tell people.
He's a pusher.
I'm a pusher, Katie. So when I'm at work and I'll be eating lunch and it's a giant salad.
Yeah.
And people come in and they just kind of look at me and they're just like, "That's all you're having?" And I was just like, "What are you talking about? This is a ton of food."
I'm thrilled.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
And they'll come in and they'll be eating their fast food. I'm just like that's cool. Go make your own dietary choices. But they're like, why don't you?
But it does open it up when you kind of don't push it on them or you say, that's gross or any of those things. Then people go, well, why do you eat this way? And it starts a conversation.
Yeah.
If you really kind of just let people talk to you, let people come to you and ask questions because they will.
Because I think people are interested in the new because who eats a fast food? Everybody, right? Like I think the actual number is
insane.
In the United States, I think 96%.
And not that we don't, but we find our vegan options at them. But point is, most people order fast food as whatever is on the value menu.
So they'll ask me questions about like, well, why are you doing it? And I'll share my story, with
and all the reasons
what's going on and things like that. And then certain people will. Be like, it's crazy, I won't do it, and they'll just shy away, and that's fine. And then some people are just like, well, do you miss it? I get that more than anything. Don't you miss the food? And I was like, of course I do. Come on, man, it tastes so good sometimes, but no, I think I'm making the right choice, and
well, when you're every day, you're not battling the headaches, you're not overly tired, you have energy, you have all these things that have happened, you've lost weight. There's so many like pros that keep you going and make you don't want to go back to that, and it's hard in many ways, but it's really also not that hard. We make so many different concoctions in the kitchen that it's really not that bad. And it can be difficult still going to restaurants for sure. We've talked about that many times, and that's why we like to share the mukbangs with you too, of just some different things you can order when you do go out, because that's definitely hard. I mean, it's easy to control what we bring in the house, but
going out is hard.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I think for the sake of time, recently we've been really transitioning our kiddo, but I probably won't go into that too much on this video. Maybe we can do another one another time with kids and stuff. But, for me, some of the big changes over the time, a year and a half, has definitely been balancing out for me. I haven't taken Advil in probably 8 months. I like from headaches too that I would get, and I really don't. I don't need it. I just don't need it. And that's like a big thing because you never realize how we're
a pill will fix it.
Yeah, we always fix everything with drugs, and it's like we don't have to do that, at least not nearly as much as we probably do. And that was a big one for me. I've definitely noticed. Now, I do still struggle with weight. I do. I'm not naive to the fact that I can make still better choices and do better for myself. But what's very difficult is with PCOS, last year, I actually really, not to be TMI or anything, but I actually really regulated out for a good 6-7 months of getting my period every month, and that was a big deal. It really was, because that's just not something that typically was happening for me. And this year it's been a little bit kind of rocky, but I've kind of shifted the way I've been eating. I hate when people say this, but what kind of vegan are you? What do you mostly eat? Are you raw? Do you do high fat or high carb and all that? And I think since I kind of shifted this year to doing high carb, low fat, I think what's kind of happening to me right now is maybe I'm not getting enough fats in to help with the hormonal part. On the flip side, when you eat too much fat, it doesn't help you lose weight. So I'm still personally kind of struggling on the weight side of things, but still my energy is much better. I sleep much better. I just feel better in general. I really, really do. And so I'm just still trusting the process for me. I've been battling, you know, this imbalance that I've had for many years, at least 10, at least. And I'm just gonna give it more time. It took forever to get to this point.
Right.
You know, it's gonna take time to reverse it. And I think it's just still finding what the perfect like blend of food is for myself, but it's all part of the process, you know. But I do think what's really cool too is even if you do research it a little bit, if you're someone that struggles with that, pretty much everything online suggests that you do a plant-based diet if you're struggling with PCOS. So you know, you kind of felt good in that too. Obviously, it's also fueled me like on a personal level just to do what I do. I mean, I kind of started out as a more beauty-ish channel, and now I'm hardly a beauty channel really, and I do what I do. I have my website now. It's completely geared around vegan options. You know, there's nothing on there that's not, and it's really cool. So I mean, it's just opened up so much like doors to me too. It's really cool. It's really cool. I mean, who would have thought, you know? But that's what happens, and you find your calling even, and you want to share the journey of it and not have all the answers, but just share what you've learned, and that's what we do.
Yeah. The website has what we eat.
Yeah.
Like that is
that's what we eat.
The library
Those are mine.
of what we eat, and it's big.
Yeah.
It is big.
There's a lot of stuff you can have
there,
as a vegan. There really is. There's a lot.
And everyone thinks we're just nibbling on carrots all day.
Yeah, and whatever, you know, and I think if you go vegan, a lot of the times you get scrutinized, and people just automatically put that label on you of like, again, you're a carrot eater and you're extremist and all those things. But I think really doesn't matter, you know. It doesn't matter. We don't care. Let it be. Let those people do that, because really though, at the end of the day, when I always say too, like when people start noticing the changes in you, whether it's physically, weight wise, I mean, all that stuff, it really opens the door to people asking more questions. And that's all we can hope for, is that we can, you know, carry on and make someone think and maybe try a different way than they have ever tried before. I mean, that's what happened to us, you know, it really did. And so that's what you do.
You know,
but yeah.
Other changes that have happened mentally, I think there's been some clarity as far as how at least I view, you know, the world around me a little bit. You know, you start to peel back the layers on what society norms are and what marketing looks like for a lot of different things, and it allows you to have a different point of view, and not that it's like don't trust anybody or don't trust the world. Right, because that can
eat you up too if you live that way. But
it's just being aware. You know,
you learn a lot more, and when you see things come up, you're like, I know why they did that. You know.
Yeah, when you see an advertisement for anything, you know, you're getting the half truth of everything. Yeah, and it's not the half truth. You're getting half the story. Right. There's another 50% of what's going on that we're just gonna hush. And being aware of that, and I think, you know, we put blinders on that to a lot of different things, but you know, being more aware of those things has also been a change for us. And
you kind of, again, it's kind of just education is power, right? Like knowledge is power. It is like you learn so much. You really, really do, about nutrition and about industries everywhere. I mean, you really, really do. And I will say, I do think that overall, eating vegetarian, eating vegan, eating plant-based, whatever it is definitely becoming more socially acceptable. I mean, it really is. It really has changed. And again, we gotta thank our extremists for it, because they really did pave the way. We wouldn't know unless it started.
They got martyred for a reason that is coming to somewhat of a head at this point.
So I mean, you can look at that, you know, maybe a different way to look at some of those extremists out there that really, they're extreme, but I think they do mean well. They just have different ways of doing it, you know? But yeah, I mean, I know this video is going to be kind of long, but it's kind of hard to have two perspectives and not have it be long, and we just want to share with you guys whenever we can, whatever we learn as we go. And I have to just say too that really in all of this and in the last year and a half, like, you guys, my subscribers, have helped us so much. So much. Like, I know you love my hauls and all that, but really what's great about those hauls is I post them and you guys give me your feedback on things you buy or what you do with certain items, and it inspires me too, and it really helps. So really get involved with channels out there too if you can, and just really you'll build communities where you really like help each other, and it really does help. It's a real thing. So I really appreciate it. Yeah. But again, maybe we'll try to pop on later and do like a live thing. And if you guys have any other questions, of course, leave any questions in the comments for us for sure. But I was just kind of thinking that might be kind of fun too.
Yeah, let us know, because there's a lot of content. I could talk forever. Yeah, I could be here all day. But yeah, if you have questions, ask them. I know that we're pretty good at being a very open book.
There's really nothing off limits.
I don't know. We can go as serious or as funny as you guys want to go. So ask the questions.
There's no dumb questions.
There's no dumb questions. Just dumb people who ask them.
What is that? Oh, there's no stupid people, no stupid questions, just stupid people.
No. But yeah, if you have a question, ask it. We are 100%
and if we don't know, we'll just say we don't know. I don't know everything. No, not at all. And that's part of it, honestly, the fun too with it all is that you're ever learning. You're just learning, but you have to be able to realize that you're gonna mess up too. And when you learn, that's all part of it. Because I think too, if you feel like you failed, don't give up. Just keep going. And I did struggle with that a little bit in the beginning too, of just like, well, I messed up already, you know. Screw it.
It wasn't worth it.
It wasn't worth it. Just keep going. Tomorrow's a new day. The next hour's a new hour. I mean, just keep going, and it will become your normal. It will.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's wrap it up. I apologize if this is like over 30 minutes. What are you gonna do?
It happens.
It happens.
Right?
It happens. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know this was a video you guys really wanted to see. I hope we kind of hit points that you were curious about, and again, we can do more of these and even include more of like how it's been with our kiddo too, possibly. But again, that's still kind of a newer thing too for us, so we're just kind of, again, we're learning as we go too. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you very soon. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It really helps us out. Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks.